Friends, good morning. Let's open our Bible to Jeremiah chapter 32, verse 27. Only one verse. Jeremiah chapter 32, verse 27. We are reading on Vi. Vi, you got it? Chapter 32, verse 27.
Oh, behold, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me?
Amen. Chapter 32, verse 27. I remember years ago when I went to Sunday school, the teacher had have us do a competition. The goal was to learn Bible verses, a verse each Sunday. And then at the end of the year, we will win prizes. First, second, and third place. Not only to recite those verses, but you have to say why one of those verses is meaningful to you. Some people will say Jeremiah 29:11. Some will say John 3:16. For me, it was this verse, Jeremiah 32, verse 27. When I read it, I see hope. I see encouragement, assurance. I see faith from that verse. That verse also shows how awesome God is. That verse describes a mighty God. Every day, we say that we serve a mighty God. Sometimes we sing, "What a mighty God we serve." Angels bow before him. Our God is so mighty. Life from nothing came from him. The Bible said that God created. Our God make the impossible possible. Where there is no way, he make a way. He is almighty. When we say almighty, what do we mean? When we say almighty, what are we talking about? Can we really define a mighty God? The answer can be yes and no. Yes, the Bible gives us plenty of examples of how mighty God is. One of the few examples, the three Hebrews. Remember them? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. King Nebuchadnezzar told them to worship his God. You guys know the story? They said no, they will not bow to his God. King Nebuchadnezzar commanded his people to take them to the furnace, to drop them there. Next thing you know, instead of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego that got burned or killed, it was the executioner. Only God can do that. When our God works, or when our God do wonders, sometimes people question it. Sometimes people don't believe it. Another story of how mighty our God is. The story of Jonah. Still today, many don't believe it. God sent a huge fish to swallow Jonah. Inside the fish, he was there for 3 days. God commanded the fish to vomit Jonah in a dry land. Only God can do that. Friends, last example. The story of Sarah and Abraham. Sarah was in age. Thank you very much, bye. Past her prime of giving birth. When God told Sarah that she was about to give birth, she did not believe it. She laughed. In the human eyes, it's impossible. God said it, and next year, Sarah gave birth to Isaac. Only God can do that. God is mighty. Mighty in power, mighty in strength. I don't want to get emotional, friends. Our God has done many things in our lives. We call them miracles. God himself said that he's mighty based on that verse. Is there anything too hard for me to do? Here's where it gets interesting. God said, I am the God of all flesh. It doesn't matter if you acknowledge him or not. He is your God. If you have a flesh, he's your God. God is the God of everybody. He's mighty in power. There's a question there, friends. Also, we can see it as an invitation. The question is there anything too hard? No, there isn't. In other words, he's challenging us. if we think or if we know that there is anything too hard for him to bring it, he'll take care of it. Where there is no way, he'll make a way. He tells the future right from the beginning. The mighty God. God is so mighty. He provides a way for salvation. All of us here today as believers should know how mighty our God is. If we did not believe that he is mighty, we would not be here. We will not worship him. Agree or disagree? We know that he is mighty. He is able to do things that we ourselves cannot do. That verse brings encouragement to me. Whenever I read that verse, give me strength. It reminds me of who I am. I am his. He is my God. Friends, this morning, I do not know what you are facing. It could be health issues. Whatever it might be, God himself said, bring it. There's nothing too hard for him. If you don't believe it, take it up to him. Every Sunday, we give people the opportunity to come forward, to bring your burden, whatever is bothering you. The reason why we do it, because we know that our God can. Our God is. Our God is able. Our God is mighty. Our God is awesome. Just like this morning, like any other morning, whatever you are facing, take it to him. Let me give you a quick example, friends. I remember few years ago, 10, 15, went to the doctor, could not see anything wrong with me. But I know there's something wrong. Check my lungs, my heart, everything working. When someone give me a hug, I feel like they were crushing me. My body hurts. I was not able to take a deep breath. I was worried. I went to a Sunday service. While the preacher was preaching, he said, there's somebody here. God heal you. At that moment, I knew it was me. I was not able to heal myself. Whatever I was facing was too much for me. It was impossible for me to face it. In fact, I was preparing for my death. God healed me. To this day, no problem. God is able. He did it for me. He can do it for you. And he will do it for you. As we sing our last song, friends, I encourage you. Take him up on that question. Is there anything too hard for me? Let him answer it for you. Let's stand.